Hey everyone, so haven't done a video in a little while, and I figured I'd do one. I think this one will actually be like kind of a useful one. So I was online one time, and I was looking at some different just things that you can do around your home, and just in your personal life to kind of be more prepared for natural disasters or things like that. Maybe like the less extreme form of prepping, I guess. But anyways, so one of the things that I found was that they were talking about having an everyday carry pack. And it got me thinking, because I'm like, man, growing up, I was in Boy Scouts, I was an Eagle Scout, and the Boy Scout motto is be prepared. My second oldest sister, and I've kind of taken this on myself, always said, like, plan for the worst, hope for the best. And so I kind of took that on, and as I was reading one of the blogs, I don't even remember which one it was called, so I'd credit it, but I can't remember. But as I was reading the blog, and he was talking about having an everyday carry pack, I was like, man, like, I need to start taking more steps to make sure that, my family's more prepared for if something happens or whatever. So without further ado, here is kind of my, what I kind of read about and kind of my first take. This is probably going to be like a two-part thing, because I could only afford to get like half the stuff I wanted to get for the everyday carry pack, the EDC. But I'll kind of show you what I have, and we'll go through it, and then I'll talk about some of the other things that I want to include in there. And if you're watching this, I would love for you to input, if you think of anything else that you would include in there as well. So without further ado, let's see. So here's kind of the spread right here. So I've got a whole bunch of different stuff. Like I said, we'll talk about all of it, but that's the official spread. So we'll get started with the first thing. Now, I got all of this on Amazon, and I'll say I got two of everything. So there's one for my car, one for Caitlin's car, and all told, I think it cost like $240. And this isn't stuff that it's not really consumable, right? Like, it's not stuff that you're going to use on a day-to-day basis. Like, this stuff isn't intended to help you out in an emergency. So first thing I got, this, I don't know how to pronounce this, Hike Pro. It's made in Japan. Hike Pro? I don't know. Anyways, this really snazzy day pack. And what I really like about it is you can see the front zipper right there. This is actually really neat, because what you can do is this pocket right here, it's got a zipper, if you can see it. And this turns inside out, and then you fold the whole backpack into this particular pocket right here, which I think that's kind of a cool little design. It's got, you can see two different areas for water bottles, and we'll talk about water bottles later. But yeah, it's not huge, but it's the perfect size for what I got. If you don't have jumper cables for your car, you need to have jumper cables. You never know when your battery's going to go. Gosh, that's going to be a great video. I sneezed. I'm not going back now. I'm already 4 minutes in. Anyways, but jumper cables are a must, right? You never know when your battery's going to die. We had one time where our old van, it actually had a fuse in it that was sucking power, like a slow loss of power. And there were two times we didn't realize what the problem was. We took it in, people looked at it, they couldn't figure it out. We had two different times where we went on trips, and we parked our car at the airport, and we came back and the battery was dead. And I tried replacing the battery. We took it into different shops. No one could figure it out. And then we took it to a shop up in Oklahoma one time, and they just randomly were like, I wonder if it was the fuse. And sure enough, we had a fuse that was draining the battery. So you just never know, right? And you don't want to be caught. It's just one of those things, like, you want to be stuck in the middle of the road with no jumper cables when that's what you need. So jumper cables are a must. Now, I love GPS and Google Maps just as much as the next person, whether you use Waze or Apple Maps or Google Maps or whatever. Apple Maps is terrible. I love Apple products. Apple Maps stinks compared to Google Maps. But anyways, you know, you never know when your phone's going to die, or, you know, on the more extreme end, there's all sorts of electronic interference in the air, and especially when you get up to higher altitudes. So you never know if your GPS is going to get blocked by weather, or, you know, you're not going to have any reception. You don't know, right? So I found these were like 13 bucks on Amazon. And this is a 2020 Rand McNally Road Atlas. If anybody remembers, like, before phones and before, you know, before the GPS, you know, the road GPS things, I remember using road maps as a kid, and it was kind of cool to like go through here and look at different places we've lived and be like, oh yeah. Now obviously it's not showing you in this particular atlas. This is for the entire United States, so this isn't showing you all of the detailed roads for your particular area, although you can get those. But it's just good for kind of general, especially like, you know, like let's say that you live close to the coast and you're trying to get out for a hurricane. It can kind of show you some of the different roads you can take, major thoroughfares to get out of your area to safety or whatever. So also, the jumper cables I got, they're Amazon basic jumper cables, which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't know Amazon did that, but I guess I'm not surprised. And I want to say they were less than 10 bucks. I want to say they might have been 10 bucks exactly. So another thing that between twine and this, you really, these are a must, not just for your car, but just in general, but 550 parachute cord. This is just so handy, especially if you do a lot of outdoor stuff. I know when I was camping, something else I want to get back into, but when I was camping, like 550 cord always came in really handy. So again, none of this stuff in and of itself is expensive. It was all, I said 240 bucks, and of course that's including tax and all that stuff, but that was for all of this stuff times 2, right? So it's really not that bad. But 550 cord is very versatile. You can use it to tie stuff. You know, if you're going on a trip and you have rails on top of your vehicle, you can use it to tie stuff down in there. You know, I'm thinking more like your car breaks down the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. You can't get a hold of anybody. It's raining. You can use 550 cord to help with the next thing that I'm going to show you, to make like a little shelter or something like that. So there's lots of different uses. I'm a huge fan of 550 cord. So next thing is a tarp, right? So this is just a basic tarp. Again, I think this was $5, I believe, somewhere around there. So you can use that to help make the shelter with the 550 cord. Also, you know, if you have a flat tire and you're in mud or it's raining or something, you can lay that out and kind of help keep yourself dry when you're changing the tire or whatever. So lots of uses for tarp as well. You can also use it to hide the bodies, right? I'm just kidding. So another thing, you should have these in your house. You should have these in your car. First aid kit. This first aid kit is like the mother load, and again, less than 20 bucks. But I mean, check this out. So you've got all sorts of stuff on here. It's just awesome. Just a couple of examples. You've got antibiotic ointment. You've got antiseptic pads. There's tweezers, toothpicks, gauze, nitrile gloves, scissors, bandages, more sizes of Band-Aids than I could possibly fathom. Sterile, got the sterile gauze pads right here. Just so much stuff. Like I found this one and I was like, dude, for the price, there's so much stuff in it and it's very compact. I like it. Duct tape. I got Gorilla duct tape because it was cheaper, and Gorilla makes good stuff actually. I'm a huge fan of Gorilla. I've used Gorilla Smart Glue to fix things, including my son's lip. I've used I've actually seen my people use the Gorilla Wood Glue to fix furniture. I mean, it's a great product. I'm a fan of this company. They make really good stuff. So pretty basic, but you never know when you're gonna need duct tape. I can't even start to say like what I would specifically use it for, but there's so many different options, so many different things. Another thing that, this is something I've been meaning to get for a while, and I'm glad I finally got them, but this little tool right here is very handy if you get in a car crash and you're stuck in your car, whether your car is on fire or you're just stuck. So this side is a seatbelt cutter, right? And you can kind of see the blade. And then this side is windshield wiper, or excuse me, I'm sorry, a windshield breaker, right? So the way that this would work, you smack it against the window real hard, it cracks the glass, and then once you crack the glass, you would use your feet, not your arms, not enough force, but you would use your feet to actually punch the window out. And you can do that with side windows, you can do it with your front window, and that way you can actually get out of your vehicle. So, very helpful. And the last thing, again, another company that I love, Gerber. I think the Leathermen were about the same price. There were a couple of other ones that were cheaper, but there's some things I found, as much as I'm all about finding deals and sales and stuff, I have found that there's some things that you gotta go for a quality product on. There's some stuff you can skimp on, right? Things you can't skimp on. You can't skimp on bacon. Can't skimp on milk. Skim milk is not milk. It's water that's pretending to be milk. If you can say who said that, I'm not going to give you anything, but I'll give you kudos. But yeah, there's some things I try not to be a name brand guy. Sometimes I am, and Multitools are one of those things that I'm a name brand guy. And I love this one. I have another Gerber multi-tool at the house, and it's good. It's the kind that slides open. I like this one because it's got the spring on it, and that's really handy, I think. So this one's got a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm not going to open it up for you, but it's got scissors, it's got a knife, it's got flathead, it's got Phillips, it's got all sorts of stuff. So multi-tool, there's a whole host of things you can use with this. There's so many times where I'm just like, man, I really need that. And it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's one of those life essentials in my opinion. So that's what I have so far. Other things that I want to get probably for round 2, I want to get some steel water bottles. I think it's really, really smart to keep water bottles in the car. Again, with kids, we always, just everywhere we go, we have water bottles, but it's always good to keep some extra water bottles in the car. And I know there's BPA free plastic water bottles and stuff. Personally, I think the plastic just makes the water taste weird, but depending on what science you believe or whatever, there is some research out there that says that keeping water in plastic bottles, especially in hot weather, the plastic can leach into the water, and it's really not that great for you. So probably why it doesn't taste great. So steel water bottles, the only thing that in the blog I was reading, they pointed this out, and I hadn't thought of it, is don't want to keep the water in a steel water bottle in the winter when it's freezing outside. So maybe this is one of those things that you keep your day pack inside and you bring it outside when you're driving somewhere. I plan on just keeping mine in the car, but that's totally up to you. What else? I'm trying to think of what else. I think steel water bottles were really the big thing. A flashlight. That was another thing that I'm gonna get in round 2 is a flashlight. Again, I feel like it's so much easier to get a hold of people when it's daytime outside. I know as much as I'd try to be a good Samaritan and pull over and help people if they look like they're in trouble in their car, I'm not a huge fan of doing that in the dark because you never know. Unfortunately, these days I feel like it's harder to trust people. So you got a flashlight, makes it a lot easier to see, makes it a lot easier for people to see you. Lots of different uses. I have a flashlight at home, and I'm probably going to try and get another one of these. It's actually made by Smith & Wesson, which is awesome. But it's got, it's LED, but it's got like the white light, and then it also has red, green, and blue. And I really like having that because, especially with red, you know, if you're driving and you need to use the flashlight for something, the red is going to help you get your night vision back a lot quicker than the green and the blue will. Green's good too. Haven't really figured out the blue one yet. Only time I've really seen that is when I was on a ship. But anyways, but it's got the blue on it if you like that. So water bottle, flashlight, that's really all I can think of. You know, some people, I know people that keep guns in their cars and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of that just because that's more something that I'm like, okay, I'm going to carry it on me, not leave it in the vehicle, because somebody breaks into the vehicle. If they steal any of this stuff, all right, cool. Congratulations, dude. You got a tarp and some jumper cables. Like, yay. You know, but if somebody breaks in your car and steals your gun, now you're talking about somebody has your firearm, and if it's registered under your name and they go do something with it, that can cause a lot of legal problems, and you just don't want to have your personal weapons unaccounted for. It's just not good. So that's something that some people do, but personally, I don't. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of. I'm sure something else will come to mind. But you know, if you guys want, I'll post. I'll probably do it anyways if you don't want it. But I'll post round 2 probably in the next month or so once I get the rest of the stuff. But this is kind of a starter. I think it's a good start. And again, it's just about being prepared. It's about, you know, it's not about paranoia. I'm not like, oh my gosh, am I gonna die or crash or whatever, but it's just being thoughtful, being proactive, so that when you find yourself in that situation, you have the tools to succeed. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.